Like when I was my little boy, my youngest one, he's 44, was 2 years old, and we were at the Hotel Vancouver at our big convention, and he got into a can of Drano and ate it. And he spent the next 11 months close to it in the hospital. They skin grafted new eyelids on him because when Drano hits the saliva, it becomes 94% pure acid. He rubbed it all over his face. And when we got to the hospital, his whole face looked like ground beef. It just bubbled all over. And you know what's interesting? With all them months in the hospital, when it was all over, we got a bill for $125. That's what it is to have Medicare, where you don't pay nothing. In the field of alcoholism, you can be in treatments in BC for the next 30 years and you don't pay 1 penny. That little boy today, the only thing you can see is some spots on his upper lips where they grafted, and his right eye still don't close all the way when he sleeps, but it's just about there, and he's 44. You see, all of the things that's come my way, and I never knew who done it. And so after that Christmas, I set up a program when I got my trucking business. For the next 38 years, I delivered my own Christmas hampers. I had them put together. I knew where they were going. I knew the people needed them. And when Daryl was 18 years of age, we went to see the doctor that done all the skin grafting, and we went up to the Children's Hospital, where he was for so long, and asked him if I could put a TV in the hospital. She said, with the new hospital here, Mr. Fenimore, we got TVs in every room now for the children. So they found a room downstairs, about 20 by 20, that was nothing was in it. It was empty. I said, can we do something here? And she said, what? I said, can we set up a little sort of a gym for the kids? And she said, I'll take it to the board. So she did, and they agreed. So we bought a weight barbell set, 3 bicycles, 3 rowing machines, and some little trampolines. And we went up every Tuesday night, Daryl and I, we'd sit with them kids as they're on there, you know, and they're as good as they're ever going to be. And we're belly aching. You know, men make counterfeit money, and money makes counterfeit men. I'm as humble as any guy you'd ever met with 50 bucks. If I got 1,000 in my pocket, you'd think Errol Flynn just strolled into the room. So the one thing these steps has taught me is to remain the right size. I stayed in that jewelry business 3 years, and then I quit and went selling Electrolux vacuum cleaners to get some experience in rejection. Don't laugh, it works. They still tell the story about me. Now this is about 33 years ago. My first day in the job, you know, these sales managers, they give them pep talks in the morning. And I went flying out of the office with a shampoo in one hand, a vacuum cleaner in the other, and I headed out towards Deep Cove, an area out on the ocean where I eventually wound up living later on. But the first doorbell I rang, this lady opened the door, and I gave her my card, and I said, good morning, I'm Mr. Fenimore, your Electrolux representative in this area now. And I never knew a door could be slammed that hard and a house still stay upright. I mean, you don't know what it feels like. It scared the living hell out of me. Now, why I did it, I don't know. But I went around the back of the house knocking the door. She opened the door, and I said, God, I hope you're not as unhappy as the lady who was just at the front door. She said, would you like a coffee? I said, I love it. I didn't sell her a vacuum or a shampoo. I didn't have to. I sold a ton of them. But the one thing I did was I broke down a barrier. Her and that family became a friend of mine. When we went to Russia, they called us. We didn't call them. We broke down a barrier over the God issue. Our job at AA is to break down the barriers. What people think of me is none of my business. I don't play games. I love it, but I hate losing. So I don't play games. I don't refer to anyone as an idiot, a jerk, an a-hole, or anything else. And the reason I don't, because my old sponsor, old Joe the Wino, said, you must have the same qualities or you would have never detected them. He said, it is grossly unfair to take your inventory and use someone else's name. Like I was saying, when we say the Serenity Prayer, I bow my head in reverence. You know, there's only one choice in the big book. God is or he isn't. He's everything or he's nothing. What was your choice to be? Look at the shortest paragraph in the big book on page 88. It works. It really works. 5 words. Shortest paragraph. See, we love, like I can quote the book or whatever. That don't mean a thing. This thing is about me living what I'm quoting. That's what becomes difficult. And so today, I'm extremely pleased with the life I live. And when I look at the blessings that's come my way and the things that I've had the chance to do. Every dream I've ever had has come true. God has never let me down. I ask for help every morning. I do a step 10 in my den before I go to bed every single night of the year. I read 8 to 10 pages of this book every single day of the year. There are no exceptions. It doesn't ask us to read this book. It says, we beg of you to study this book. A lot of difference between reading it and studying it. And so I look back on my life, and after the jewelry and the Electrolux business, I opened a wood stove and fireplace insert store, which was the biggest thing in Canada, in the cold countries, for gas going up. Big business. I had that for 10 years. Then I marketed the Able Walker. We went to Taipei and Taiwan and had that made. The mobility aid, there's one right here with the brakes and the little seat. And you know, here one day I was invited to go to the medical show and display that in Atlanta, Georgia. This little boy from Sally Ann, Michigan. 1985, I got a phone call and this fellow said, Mr. Fenimore, and I said, yeah. He said, we would like to know if you would be interested in being the banquet speaker at our national convention. I said, where? He said, in the Republic of South Africa. Wow. I just couldn't believe it. And so I got on a plane and flew to England and spent a week and got on another one through Egypt. And I was about an hour and a half out of the Jan Smuts Airport in Johannesburg, and I just burst out crying. And this little hostess come back and she said, can I help you, sir? I said, no, darling, you wouldn't understand. And I stayed there because I've always had a job ever since I quit drinking, and the companies I've owned or managed where I can take as much time off as I want. So I went for 3 months and they flew me to 29 places throughout Africa. Well, what an experience. I lived four days in Soweto with 8 million black people, and I was the only white person. And I wish you could come to my home and see the things that they presented me with. That were all hand done. And they presented me with a neck piece that is only presented to heads of states. And here a tramp from Vancouver comes. I went down to Durban, and they had made arrangements to escort me into Zululand. And at that time, Buthelezi, who was head of the Zulu tribe, would not allow anybody into Zululand. And isn't it amazing? I got in there because his wife had 18 months of sobriety at that time. After that, I got a phone call one day, and the fellow said, can I have lunch with you? I said, yeah. He said, boy, have I got a deal for you. I had lunch and said, what? He said, the provincial government here would like to know if you'd start an alcohol and drug program out for the British Columbia Racing Commission, thoroughbred and standardbred horse racing. And I thought, you've got to be kidding. I accepted it. He told me the wages, and I accepted it quick. And I said, what days do I work? They said, we wouldn't know. I said, how many hours a day I work? He said, haven't got a clue. I said, when do I take my holidays? He said, whenever you want them. I said, how long? He said, as long as you want them. I thought, the right job for me.